In this lesson, we will talk about dynamics, articulation, and tempo. Dynamics refers to how loudly or softly the notes will be played. Articulation refers to the production of each note, or the way in which we play the note in relation to the next note. For example, shortly or with emphasis. Tempo is the speed of the composition. Previously, we talked about some important features of music, including the melody, height, and rhythm. There is also another important feature that gives the tune its character. Composers many times try to tell a story behind the music. Moreover, they often try to convey emotion and atmosphere through music. For example, a spirited, cheerful character can be felt in faster music with short notes. For an angry or dramatic character, the music will be played loudly. A delicate or romantic character can be conveyed with quiet music, and so on. Many terms in music are taken from the Italian language, such as legato, staccato, pianoforte, etc. We shall refer to several concepts that define at what speed to perform a composition. The composers who once lived hundreds of years ago had no way to explain exactly at what speed they wanted a composition to be played. Instead, they could only use terms that refer to faster or slower speeds. Please write down the following terms that are used to describe tempo. You may often run into these terms in sheet music. Allegro, joyful and fast. Presto, very fast. Adagio, slow. Largo, very slow. Andante, at walking speed. Moderato, at moderate speed. There are many concepts of tempo, but these are the main ones. Try to remember them by heart. Each of these tempo terms was later defined using metronome speed numbers. Of course, we are not machines, and most people do not remember exactly what is a quarter note that equals 125 BPM speed. So there is also a personal interpretation depending on the performer. For example, different performers may play a piece labeled presto at slightly different speeds. There is also a term which indicates free tempo, and it's called rubato. I think sheet music is a mix between mathematics and emotion because it is impossible to precisely measure the emotion. There are some signs that tell us to play as much as we feel like. For example, fermata tells us to play the note longer than it is written. If this mark appears above a half note, for example, I can hold it for 3 or 4 beats or even more. Personal interpretation goes the same way for music intensity. Low intensity for one pianist is not necessarily the same as low intensity for another pianist. Please copy the following dynamic marks into your notebook. These are the basic ones. P, piano, soft and gentle. P, piano, pianissimo, very soft and gentle. F, forte, loud. F, forte, fortissimo, very loud. M, F, mezzo forte, moderately loud. M, mezzo piano, moderately soft. In music, we also have terms for when we want a dynamics change to happen gradually. Crescendo, C-R-E-S-C, means to play gradually from soft to loud. The opposite of crescendo is decrescendo, decree, also called diminuendo, dim, which means to gradually play more softly. You can also see the direction in which the music dynamics should be weakened or strengthened by a pair of lines that form an open triangle. There are also processes that happen gradually in relation to acceleration or slowing the tempo of the music. Slowing of music usually occurs at the end of the composition and is indicated by a sign called rit. Short for ritardando, it means to slow the tempo down gradually. The opposite of rit is the sign accel, which means to accelerate the tempo gradually. But sometimes the composer wants to express surprise. So when we have a sudden transition from very weak to very strong, we use the sign sforzando, SFZ. The opposite is subito piano, which means suddenly the music becomes soft. We have many different forms of playing to create different articulation from the notes. Articulation also refers to how to play a note in connection with the next note. For example, accented notes or short notes, staccato, or notes that are played continuously connected to each other. This form of playing is called legato. I will compare music to people speaking. Just as in talking, in music we have phrases and sentences. Just like when we speak, we must take a breath when playing music to separate each phrase or sentence. In music, legato indicates musical phrases through a slur, curved line that is located over the notes.